Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I'll be reading a multi-character reader by me, so let's get into it. Cyno. Cyno has never made out with anyone before. The two of you got to kissing, thankfully. But making out? It was kind of weird and very new to you too. But eventually, he decided that he could afford to try. Which is why tonight, he stayed off of work and held you in his arms right now. And the two of you looked at each other in the eye. The two of you giggling a little bit, confused. Honestly, seeing you laugh made him want to laugh as well, so he couldn't control it all that well. But, in the end, he kinda just got himself to calm down and got your face in his hands, kissing you softly. And soon, you started to make out with him. The first one, you knew you had to try it out with him instead. You knew you had to be the one doing it, because he was so clueless it was adorable. And it seemed like he liked it too. The flush in his face, and the way he was so confused at first melted into it. It was a pretty good tell. Which was why you held him even closer. And it was also why he got so distracted, forgetting that he was maybe supposed to sleep a little bit earlier that day, since he had a meeting with some of the academia researchers tomorrow. Did it matter? No. Because no matter what, Cyno's never felt anything as beautiful as having his lips against your own. It was the most wonderful feeling in the world, and it was one that he would never give up or trade for anything else. Albedo? Albedo's never nervous with this. In fact, he was quite eager, and he was more than ready to take all the time off he needed to, perhaps even for a full week, if it meant he gets to kiss you right now. Yeah, maybe he was a little bit too eager, but it didn't matter that much. After all, him being a little bit too eager meant that you were going to have a lot of excitement and fun, right? At least a lot of excitement on his part. As for the fun, that, let's see if you could share. But you did convince him to at least finish your work. You didn't have much to do anyway. And though he was kind of impatient, he decided that he was going to listen to you anyway. He never wanted to say no to you. Call him weak, but if he was weak, then this would be his only weakness. In the end, the two of you ended up going to his home. Finally, somewhere that's actually warm. And as soon as you entered, he had you pinned against his wall, kissing you. And soon enough, the two of you were making out like there was no tomorrow. Albedo had no patience whatsoever, and it really showed. But honestly, the way he kissed you and loved you, it felt like you were a princess from a fairy tale. It was the best you've ever felt. And as he held you closer, a hand stroking through your hair and telling you that you're amazing, just for existing. You were honestly too stunned to talk, staring at him like you hung up the stars in the sky. Like he named an entire constellation just after you. And knowing Albedo, he would. And though the two of you spent a lot of time together that day, every moment of it was memorable, and he knew that you'd be able to recall this day perfectly later on. At least, just to reminisce, and have a fun smell at the end. Scaramouche. Scaramouche is really into being affectionate with you. But making out? Kissing? All of it was really strange. I mean, he had no idea what to do. He doesn't know how to deal with this. All of it felt awfully weird. Not to mention, he was much more of a fan of cuddles than other things, especially things that he was not so familiar with. However, you took one good look at him and knew what was going on through his head. So you promised him that you would take it slow, and thankfully that was all he needed. After all, he was extremely worried about not being able to please you, so hearing that from you, it made him happy. Not as in he didn't want to kiss you or anything, he just didn't feel pressured to be anything. He wanted to try, and it helped his nerves, since he was such a nervous person when it came to you, and all those things he didn't know. And as soon as it came to be the moment, he held him gently, kissing him slowly and deepening it. And the shock and surprise on his face was so precious that it almost made you pause. But you were going to continue, appreciating every expression on his face. The confusion shifted to realization and understanding, before it shifted to want and need. He liked it, and so did you. And though the first few attempts of his were a little bit messy, they were nothing short of good. But then again, anything you would do would be good anyway. That's just how it is. You love Scaramouche, and anything you get from him is something you love as well. Childe. Childe and Albedo were similar in the fact that they were extremely eager, but Childe even more so. He was clingy and really excited and impatient. So in a few moments, he kept hugging you, wrapping his arms around your waist, and asking when you would get to try. The two of you had made a bet. A bet on how long you'd take until he wanted to make out with you. You said until a week. And he said a month. The two of you had just started dating after all. But you knew him very well. And in fact, it was not a week, not a month, no. It was 2 days. He was horrible at this. However, he did let you in. So, even though he was disappointed with his skills, it didn't matter that much. He kept picking you the entire day, and you just let him have it, finding it extremely funny. But after a little bit, yeah, you caved, as you can guess. And he was the happiest man on earth, enjoying everything about it. And that night was special in more ways than you could count. And also, he did take the morning off. You could probably guess why.